Do you ever get just a little bit frustrated with paladins? In this episode, I'm going to cover a few things relating to these big old smitey boys. First, we're going to look at the Paladin's Oath and the way it relates to their reputation as a holy warrior. Then we're going to investigate that oath and the individual tenets in that oath and the tension between the character and those tenets. And then we're going to explore, hey, what happens if the character betrays those oaths? Do they fall from grace and become an evil oathbreaker? Well, I reckon I've got a pretty good solution for that as well. But first, let's go to the Reddit post that set me on this whole journey. Check this out. It was this Reddit post right here by Be the Better Me, Alternative Paladin Ideas. My friends and I are starting a new campaign this Sunday, and one of our friends is trying out a paladin. However, she doesn't like the goody two-shoes vibe of traditional paladins. And that got me thinking, wait a minute, what do you mean traditional paladins? So what I did is I read every paladin subclass. A paladin in D&D is typically your holy warrior. Picture a heavily armored person. Synonyms might be a Templar or a crusader, right? They're a magic-y kind of fighter, but less arcane magic and more holy magic. But where does that come from in the game? What's telling us that? The weird thing is that in a lot of ways, 5th edition is telling us that the paladin is not a holy warrior, right? In the mechanics, they outline that it's actually their 3rd level feature where they get to pick their subclass through a sacred oath. They find some greater calling, and it's their conviction to that calling that gives them their power. But the weird thing is, all of their abilities across pretty much all of the subclasses present in a holy way. So check this out. Class feature names: divine sense, right? Lay on hands, typically a holy style of thing. What else do we have? Divine smite, sacred oath, channel divinity. It's really all couched in this religious and holy and, sacrament language, even though the mechanics are specifying that, hey, it's actually just your conviction and your oath that's giving you this power. And after reading through all the subclasses, I found the one which I think is the most archetypical paladin, the one that this person wants to try and get away from for their friend, and that is the Oath of Devotion. So I just want to show you how obnoxious some of this stereotypical paladin's ideals are, right? The Oath of Devotion binds a paladin to the loftiest ideas of justice, virtue, and order. Sometimes called cavaliers, white knights, or holy warriors, these paladins meet the ideal of the knight in shining armor, acting with honor in pursuit of justice and the greater good. Now that's fine, but this next bit is the problem. They hold themselves to the highest standards of conduct, and some, for better or worse, hold the rest of the world to the same standards. Ooh, that's pretty frustrating. The idea that you can have a character in your party that would be trying to hold you to their standards, maybe that conflict's interesting to you, but for a lot of casual gamers, maybe that would be very annoying. In order to have a really effective alternative style of paladin, you've got to explore that oath. So let's think about this a little bit. Let's look at these tenets and work out how our paladin relates to them. If you have a character that is really caring about honesty, why can't that character be like a journalist? Why can't they be, hey, I am so interested in journalistic integrity that it is my oath to find truth everywhere as I'm recording and documenting the world. If your character is duty, why can't it be like a duty to their job that is like the foundation of their oath? Hey, I am so committed to this family that I've been hired to guard, and my father guarded them and his father guarded them. We are vassals of this noble family, and I am so dedicated to keeping them safe that I am actually drawing power from this oath and my commitment to them. When you ground your paladin in their oath, you get to tell some different kind of stories, rather than just having a paladin who is, look, I am vaguely good, and I want you to be vaguely good as well. Hey, I would love to hear your ideas about the way a paladin relates to their oath. So if you have any ideas for any of the subclasses, maybe your favorite paladin oath, describe something that would trigger that person to swear that oath, and something that would be a through line through their whole journey and relationship to that oath. I love my cat. I have had a cat that I loved, and so I have sworn an oath to the ancients because I just love animals, and I run a rescue shelter. That's a cool paladin oath. I love that. So I want to hear your ideas for good alternative paladin oaths. But when I got here in my thinking, I realized I was kind of running into a problem with paladins, and that's that good characters change. I love having a dynamic character and looking at the journey that this character's gone through emotionally, philosophically, that their attitudes and behaviors have changed when they've reached the end of the journey compared to the start of the journey. Because look at all the struggles they went through to get there. Of course, they've come out the other side different. But a paladin is, by definition, built on a rigid set of tenets, right? A rigid set of tenets. Is your character still an oath of devotion if they believe something else by the end of the journey? Does that affect their class? And that's where we get into the Oathbreaker. Here's another person on Reddit who's highlighting a problem with the Oathbreaker. They're saying, okay, so I want to play an Oathbreaker in a new campaign, but I also don't want to play an evil character, since all the members of my party are on the good spectrum and nobody wants to be that disruptive player that nobody likes to play with. What do you mean? Evil? Why are you evil if you're an Oathbreaker? Hold on to your hats, because this is a canonically evil player class. An Oathbreaker is a paladin who breaks his or her sacred oaths to pursue some dark ambition or serve an evil power. Whatever light burned in the paladin's heart has been extinguished. Only darkness remained. Hang on a minute. Are you saying that just because I decided I don't want to be like, I don't know, an oath of vengeance anymore? Damn, maybe I forgave somebody a little bit too much and now I don't feel like I'm oath of vengeance. Does that mean I have to become someone where only darkness remains? All light has been extinguished from my heart? I'm evil now? Oh, you might be thinking, okay, well, I don't want to be an evil character. I'll just kind of, reflavor. I'll just ignore that flavor text. Look at the abilities that the Oathbreaker gets. All of their abilities are super dark. They get Animate Dead, Bestow Curse, Blight, Confusion. Their Channel Divinity, dog, it is Control Undead. Their Aura of Hate. The 20th level ability is called Dreadlord. Like, they're super dark. They're super menacing. Why is it that just because I decided I don't want to do my current oath anymore, my oath is replaced with like an oath of just being awful? But this is where I contacted my friend Randall Wright, who writes a lot of the content for Patreon. And I said, Randy, please help me sort out this mess. There's got to be a system or a class to give players an option when they want to break an oath, right, and explore the nuances of a paladin's relationship to their oath, but not necessarily go full on, I'm a dreadlord now, evil character, because that's not a journey that I think everybody would want to go on. So we made this supplement. Check this out. This is the first draft of the PDF that's currently on Patreon. You can get this and everything that I've ever put out on Patreon for $5. So please check it out. This isn't the final layout, so don't judge me if there's anything half done here. But this is a comprehensive guide to breaking oaths and then not ending up evil. So in this PDF, we've got rules for lesser transgressions, greater transgressions, and then severing transgressions. And the idea is that these kind of infractions against a paladin's oath, the individual tenets of their oath, will inform how they relate to their oath, and it'll affect their abilities as they get further and further away from their tenets. But I just want to let you know, as the player's breaking their oath and their abilities are changing slightly, it's not a punishment. Right? It's not a punishment. I'm not saying, hey, Oath of Vengeance, you've been a bit too forgiving lately, therefore I'm going to punish you for exploring something with your character. No, it's just different. It's fun. This is a fun zone to explore with breaking your oaths. And if the paladin eventually breaks their oath, they break enough tenets and they choose to, they could take on the Forsworn subclass. This is an alternative to the Oathbreaker. Doesn't make you evil, it just means that you're not necessarily a part of an oath. You still work on conviction. You still work on conviction. It's just not conviction to an oath or a set of tenets. It's conviction to yourself and your own power as a moral entity in the world. So this is going to give you all the same style of spells of every other subclass and abilities, but it acts as kind of a pit stop between O's. Yeah, a paladin could land here and stay here. A paladin could land here and go, I am forsworn forever. I'm relying on myself as a moral entity, and that's my new character. This is what my character cares about. But there's nothing to say that a character couldn't become forsworn as they fall from grace. They might go, oh, I've been an oath of vengeance for a while, but I worked out that sect and that order doesn't really work for me anymore. Those tenets don't work for me. Do you know what? I'm going to become forsworn. And then, do you know what? I've discovered that I actually love kindness and honesty and supporting people. I'm going to become an oath of devotion. You can use this to kind of bounce between O's. And I think that that's really appropriate for a paladin thematically. If you're keen on that PDF that Randall Wright and I made with the Forsworn subclass and the Oathbreaking rules, then you can get it right now on Patreon for $5, along with literally everything I've ever made. Or you could be lame and just take screenshots from the video, but I don't know, that would suck. Don't do that. All these people down here, these are my patrons right now. Thank you all so much for your support. I really, really super duper appreciate it. And also, check this out up here. Huh? What's that? YouTube thinks that you'll like this video? That's wacky. I wonder if it's right. Give it a click. I'll see you later.